Happy bank holiday, people. Oh, you've had a good weekend and we're ready to chop it up, unpack it with my guy, Dan. And it's Arsenal versus Villa. 2-0 to the Gunners. Job done. And we're ready to, like I said, unpack it all down. Just before we get into the result, though, Dan, there's one thing that I want to hit up first, and that's Mikel Merino. News come out yesterday that medical's being done, etc. Talk to me. Are you excited about this signing, bro? Because I'll be honest, I'm not really excited.
Excited would be quite far to go, I feel. But listen, bro, I think it's needed because I look at the bench in the last couple. We've got Jorginho and that's it. And then the other player is Ethan Nwaneri, who's a 17-year-old kid who looks very promising, but there's a lot of pressure on him. So I would say Mikel Merino being at Arsenal in the 8 is probably what we need. It's the only real box-to-box midfielder that we would have at the club if Rice is going to be the 6. And I understand that Thomas Partey's been really good, and I understand that Jorginho's there as cover, but I truly expect them to be squad players this season. We've seen Thomas Partey can't remain fit. Declan Rice in the 6 or the 8, it's fine by me. He looks a little bit unfit at the moment, if I'm honest. Brushing up some cobwebs, still Declan Rice in my opinion. But I will say this, I think Mikel Merino coming into Arsenal, it's the player that Arteta wants. He clearly wants Arsenal and has fitted into the project what Arteta has gifted him. So I kind of feel like we need to at least see him in the Arsenal shirt before we judge him. I remember I've done this before with Aaron Ramsdale and Tommy Yasu and players that have come in and we're like, what? Who's this guy? What are we getting him for? And everyone was like, he's going to be trash. We never heard of this guy. And actually, to be fair, we all know Ramsdale and Tommy Yasu have still got their problems. One of them needs to leave the club. The other one needs to stay fit. But at the same time, when they are fit, they did really well for us. So I think we need to actually not judge them before they wear the shirt. I think Mikel Merino is definitely going to bring some attributes we need at Arsenal. He's definitely physically imposing. I think he's 6'2". He's definitely going to bring us an aerial threat and definitely something that we can look at going forward. And I think the last time that we had a left-footed, left-sided 8 was Granit Xhaka. So I think that could potentially, alongside Calafiori and Timber, flourish the game of Martinelli, which I'm sure we'll come on to, man. So I think it's a definite good signing. Whether I'm excited about it or not, I don't want to go over the top, man. I need to see him first, but it's promising for sure.
Do you know what, yeah, Dan? I understand everything that you just said, yeah, because we think very similar. However, with the signing, it's a tricky one because I wanted a striker for a long time. I hope we do go out there and get it, yeah. But the signing of Mikel Merino, it's come kind of out of nowhere in it before the Euros. We didn't really know who he was. Not many people tracking him. Not many people know about him. We have been linked to him many times before. So it's only you start looking into the player once you look into him. And obviously, I'd be honest, bro, I haven't seen much of him. Only seen him in the Euros, seen him a bit of highlights here and there, watched the odd game here and there. But that's it at a max. So I can't say, right, okay, this guy's going to come in and he's going to be that piece. What I have seen of him, I think he is very similar to Granit Xhaka. Very similar kind of stature of player. And I think, obviously, Arteta loves that kind of player because, look, he more or less begged Xhaka to stay, didn't he? So you can clearly see that he wants that kind of player. The reason I'm not excited is because, like I said, we're at a stage now where, say, for example, we brought in an Osimhen or we brought in somebody of that stature. That's obviously, I know it's a bit glamorous, but that's something that would excite me. You know what I mean? I think we're just adding players to the squad now to plug some gaps. And whether Mikel Merino is going to work or not, we're going to have to wait and see because the Premier League's a different kettle of fish, innit? When you come here, you got to prove it in this league. And if Arteta believes that he's going to be the man, then happy days, innit? Because like you said before, there's been many times where myself, you, many other fans have not kind of seen eye to eye with the signings that he's brought into the club. However, they have tend to work out, innit? So we're going to have to wait and see, innit? We're going to have to wait and see, Dan. But look,
yeah, listen, some of them have worked out. You look at, I think when people say Arteta and Edu get it right all the time, they're wrong. Because there's been signings that the club have made.
Lokonga.
Trash. Lokonga, Tavares, Runnison. You have to say it now. Fabio Vieira looks like he's going back on loan because it ain't worked out. There's definitely been some that haven't worked out, but you can't deny the fact that the team that we've got together now, I mean, it's night and day compared to what happened when Arteta walked in, man.
You know what, bro? He has come in and done a significant job. You know what I mean? Look, at the start, I was but I wasn't blinded because he didn't have nothing to go off in order for me to think, you know what, he can do this and do that. Yeah. So, but I'm also mature enough to see when he's doing things right, see when the club changes. Because, Dan, we get to go to the game. And if you go to the game for years, you see how bad the atmosphere was. You see how it was a disaster. The whole place from top to bottom was a disaster. Now he's brought a unity to that club where as fans, we're believing now we're going to go on and win the title. We're going to go on and push and challenge for the title. 2 games have gone. We've got no right to say we're challenging for the league this year because we're not even 10 games in. But because the belief he's created around the club and the position he's put us in, we're already expected to challenge off the get-go, which is a progression from where we were many, many years ago. But look, let's touch on the Villa game, bro, because Unai Emery, he done us over last season twice, you get me, and he come back to haunt us. And very difficult game, difficult place to go to. I believe Aston Villa are going to go out there and pump in a lot of these big teams this season. So I think we had the result of the weekend. What did you make of the performance from the Villa game?
Yeah, it was definitely the result of the weekend. Whether it was the performance of the weekend is definitely a question mark. However, when you look at the result and you look at how we got it, you've got to say it's a massive statement win. And that for me was huge. And I'll tell you why. It wasn't just because we won the game, which is a difficult place to go. Villa are a top table clash now. Whether you like it or not, whether you think Villa are top or not, they are, with one of the best squads in the league, they are definitely a top of the table clash now. They've got a brilliant manager. They're back in the Champions League. And they've built and built and built. And their squad, I mean, I look at their bench and actually, how much different to ours? Like, real talk, their bench and our bench, it was like, who's got the better bench here? So for me, it was a massive statement win. The other reason it was massive was because the Unai Emery and Arteta debate has been going on all week. Who's better? Who's better? And my reply was, you remember on my show, go beat him. If you're better than him, go beat him. And he's done that. And I think when you look at how we won the game, you can say it was a little bit lucky in terms of Watkins not having his shooting boots on. But I don't think Aston Villa pelted our goal. I don't think that they were peppering our goal. I don't think that Aston Villa were looking to be playing it around us, dominating it. The only player I would say was outstanding for them was Morgan Rogers. He absolutely destroyed our midfield. Like,
top tier player, bro.
My goodness, mate. From Middlesbrough for 8 million. What a signing. So for me, you've got to say hats off to him. But if I'm honest with you, the first 45 to 50 minutes of that game was walking football. And that was because of the tactics that were deployed by Unai Emery. It just was not allowing us to break through them. Low block, really difficult to break through. Then a mistake from Gabriel allows them in. Watkins misses the target. Brilliant save from David Raya. Watkins,
Dan, we got to give that appreciation. Sorry to cut you off there, sure.
Bro,
fuck me sideways, mate. Literally, bro, that was a madness. It was a madness. You know what? I hate pundits. I hate pundits saying, you know what? Trait keepers do that all the time. That's the drill they train the most. I don't care if that's the drill you train the most. In a high pressure situation in the game, doing that is unbelievable, bro. Unbelievable. He needs his plaudits.
He does, and he's been a goalkeeper that I think when he's come in has had question marks over whether how he is a huge upgrade on Ramsdale or not. There's certainly attributes he's better than Ramsdale at 100%. When you start seeing saves like that, people start to love him and fall in love with him. And I honestly believe David Raya got a hard time last season when he came in the Arsenal team. And I think it was probably down to the manager messing the two around. And if I'm honest with you, I think the fans fell in love with Aaron Ramsdale so much that some of the fan base were like, do you know what? I kind of all right with Raya, but there's a little bit in the back of my mouth, which is thinking, yeah, this is a sour taste because I love Ramsdale. Then he had that brilliant save and won us the game at Porto at the Emirates, where obviously we went through in the Champions League, and people started to think, do you know what, fair play. But the start of this season, Wolves at home, Aston Villa away, he's kept us in both games. 2 world-class saves at the Emirates last week, and then obviously the Ollie Watkins one. I thought it was outstanding. I mean, if he's honest, he thinks he's getting lobbed. He falls over and thinks, oh, thank God that's hit the bar. Let me get up. And then he's pulled off one of the best saves you'll see all season. I thought he deserved appreciation, man. And fair play to him because, you know, I hope that he's settled now. People have said to me, oh, he was shaky at the start. I think he was nervous at the start. When you're going into a new club, Premsy, and the whole crowd are singing Aaron Ramsdale, Aaron Ramsdale, Aaron Ramsdale, you're thinking, am I what even wanted here? Like, I'm the number one now. Do you want me? I'll go back if you want. And I think for me, like he's come in, he's settled now. Everyone knows he's number one. The fans have got behind him, and I thought he was phenomenal. And you know, I put something on my Twitter yesterday, and I don't know if you saw it, which said, "What was better at the weekend: Raya's save, Saliba's last-ditch tackle, or Ben White's shithousery where he smashed the ball at the begin?"
I'm taking Ben. I'm taking Ben White's thing. You get me? Back your boys. Back your boys to the fullest, yeah. You don't let no one fuck around. And you know what, though? As fans, though, we are very sensitive, though. You get me? And we are very attached to players because, for example, with Ramsdale, look, Dan, sometimes, yeah, but not even sometimes, mainly is the clock end where man sits, you get me, or North Bank. So Raw, you're behind the goalie. Now, when Ramsdale came into the club, it wasn't even that he was making top draw performance after performance. It was more he built that connection with the fans. You get me?
Did.
And this is why the fans then started to love him. Then he started making good performances and getting better. And even at the times when he was making mistakes or letting the odd goal in here or there, the fans were still with him because he already built that connection. So I think when Raya was going to come in, it was going to be very hard to disrupt that. And this is what I do like about Arteta. He's not sensitive. He's not attached to these players. If he thinks that somebody could come in and do something better, he will bring them in. And that's what I like about him. And that's what I've started to see what he could do in the long run for Arsenal, where in the past we've seen us like keep hold of certain players for 6, 7 years or 5 years or an extra 2 years that didn't even want to be at the club. Because under Wenger, bro, we were fighting to keep players. Players wanted to move all the time. Now it's a different kind of situation where players want to stay at Arsenal, want to play for Arsenal, and that's a credit to Mikel Arteta. So you gotta give him his props, Dan. But yeah, man. Sorry for anyway talking about Raya and Ramsdale. We just absolutely cut you off from your thoughts on the game.
You needed to because it deserved a mention. David Raya, I thought yesterday, goalkeeper of the weekend, save of the weekend, will go down as one of the saves of the season for sure. But let's be real, if that's 2-0, it's a different game, man. And Arsenal being told again, oh, you haven't got the mentality shift. Because that's, for me, the mentality of that at the weekend is huge. You go to those away games, you've got to come away with 3 points, not 0 or 1. And last season, we weren't able to go and do that at Villa Park. So I'll be looking at St. James's Park. I'll be looking at Craven Cottage. I'll be looking at the Etihad and Anfield to go and take points there on top of the ones that we got last season as well. Because our away form was really good last year. In fact, I think we still only lost 1 game in 2024, and that was against Villa at home. So for me, you look at the form that we're in, it's phenomenal. The last 10 away games, we've won them all. It's absolutely scary. We drew 1, and that was obviously at the Etihad. So we won all 9. Yeah. So I think we're in a brilliant, unbelievable turn of form. And the other players I wanted to mention was obviously Saliba. I honestly think now, Prems, he's the best in the world now. I honestly do. I look at that centre-back and I just think, who's better than? You know, you can talk to me about Van Dijk all you want. You can talk to me about Ruben Diaz, Militiao. You can throw loads of names at me. I put him alongside him and I just think, yeah, I'd sign you. I'd sign you over anyone. And it's not just because he's younger. It's not just because he's an Arsenal player. It's because he's better. He genuinely has everything. I can't see a weakness to his game. He is absolutely phenomenal at everything that he does. He's got pace, he's got power, he's got strength, he's got composure. He is not rash whatsoever. He is calm and composed, casual on the ball, and he just has confidence that just oozes it. And every time he goes into a battle, I know he's winning it. Like up here, I know.
You're confident in it. You know he's winning it. You get me?
You know it. Like if Zinchenko's going for the ball, you're like, oh no, like Zinchenko, or maybe it is Thomas Partey to some, or it might be Jorginho to others. I don't know.
Bro, we've had Sebastian Scolacci going for balls, bro. What are you talking about?
Do you know what I'm saying? Mustafi and Scolacci and Socrates, and I'm like, yeah, I've now got this boy Saliba and Gabriel. I mean, I know he made a mistake, but he deserves a mention as well because together they complement each other. Ben White for the shithousery. I mean, listen, John McGinn comes up against Saliba. Saliba obviously schools him, and then the only thing he feels he can do is smash the ball at him. So what happens? Ben White says, yeah, you do that to my mate, this is what happens. Twat. Just smashes the ball at him. And
you gotta love Ben White, innit? You gotta love Ben White.
Beautiful from Ben White. Beautiful. But listen, I mean, I don't want to start moving on the game too much, but Trossard deserves a mention as well, man. But we'll go into that when he scored the goal, man. But for me, the players that deserved the mention at the back were Saliba, White, and Raya, because White for his shithousery. I thought Timber played well when he came in. Saliba, phenomenal. Gabriel had that mad moment, but was good for it. And Raya made them unbelievable saves. And let's be real, we still ain't conceded a goal. So long may that continue, man. Because
that's the most important thing, Dad. Because you know what, I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't impressed by the performance and the aspects of the way we were playing football. What I was impressed by, the collectiveness of the team, how we managed to stick to a plan, not concede a goal, and walk away with the 3 points at a very difficult place. And even at the start, they were trying to fuck with us. I don't know whether it's all social media or not, but putting the Champions League there in the front. I don't know whether they're going to do this for the season now because they are in the Champions League, or if that was just a little psychological thing. But it shows that nothing gets these players anymore. It's a different crop of players at Arsenal now. The mentality's there, and we're a very big team. Man can't bully us. You get me? Back in the day, Dan, when we used to have like Rosiński and Arshavin, and in that era, we were getting bullied, you get me? And we didn't have the physical stature to do anything. Now, if you look at him, even bringing in the likes of Merino, bro, this guy's, like you said, won the most duels in Europe's top 5 leagues. We're adding that kind of strength now. People know when Arsenal
It's in
turn
the
up to
tunnel as
town.
well, Prems. In the tunnel, Prems. You look at that and you think, wow, they're towering over us. Ben White, Kai Havertz, Declan Rice, Gabriel, Saliba. You just mentioned Merino. You know, let's be real. There's only really Jesus, Saka, and Martinelli and Trossard that are like under 6
You know
foot.
what? But Martinelli's not even that small as well. He's like 5'10", 5'11", you know what I mean? Because when I see Martinelli, I'm 5'11". When I see Martinelli, he's more or less same height as me. So
and that's massive when you're lining up against them in the tunnel. Because even players like Partey, he ain't small. You know what I'm saying? Timber, he stacks, mate. I know he's 5'11", but he is ripped to shreds.
We're gonna need to speak on him. We got a lot. Is this half an hour gonna last though? I don't know what's going on here, yo, because this is a mad thing, yo. But look, just quickly, look, just on the Gabriel and Saliba thing, Dan, I honestly believe, if we could keep this pair together for the next 5 years, and we win them significant trophies, for me, it'd be the best centre-back pairing in Premier League history. I think they've got the ability to do that.
I agree.
They've got the ability.
People will laugh because they've only just started together. I look at Vidic and Ferdinand, Terry and Carvalho, Adams and Bold, Pallister and Bruce. They've got everything in their locker to be as good, if not better than them. Now, of course, Terry and Carvalho, they'll be down as the best because they conceded 15 goals. It's never been done before, right? So when you talk about Vidic and Ferdinand being better or Adams and Bold being better, everyone will throw that back at you and go, yeah, but they didn't concede only 15 goals. I kind of feel like Arsenal need to get close to that. And I said this with Terry on the terrace and on my show. I'm not saying that we need to get 14 goals conceded or 15 goals to match it. I'm saying we need to basically use that as the target. That needs to be the target. There needs to be, you go into every game and you'll say, what's the score going to be today? I don't know, but we ain't conceding. That's all it needs to be. Because, you know, they say that term, don't they? Strikers win your games, defence wins you titles. That is facts. Absolute facts. I don't know a Premier League team that's won a Premier League title that's had a defence that you go, cool, how they won with that? That's poor. You could probably throw Leicester in there, but Morgan and Hoof were unbelievable together at that year. So I look at it now and I think, do you know what? Fair play. We need to go and get that partnership that's levels because Arsenal need to start winning trophies because I tell you, I don't know about Gabriel, but Saliba is going to be sniffed around by Real Madrid. So we need to keep him
out. Bro, 100%. I'm telling you, Dan, I know this is going to sound really bad. I want him to stay here forever, but give it 2-3 years, bro. Real Madrid will snap him up in it. Like, you got to think, like, we're talking about him being the best centre-back in world football. And he's not British, he's not English. He's, fair enough, he might love Arsenal and develop that bond with the players and stuff. But really, at the end of the day, money talks, you get me, stature talks. You move over to Real Madrid, it's a total different level of stardom. You know what I mean? You start getting put in different kind of conversations. And it is disappointing because really and truly we want to create that at Arsenal. But you got to call a spade, isn't it? Like, it is what it is, isn't it?
Like, I'm not different knock, mate. Different knock,
bro. Do you know what their knock is, yo? Their knock's like the 5-0, yo, when they come in with the big red key knocking the door down. That's what their knock is. You get me? You better make sure you got some bricks in front of that door. But look, man, let's move on to Saka before we touch on to Trossard and Partey and etc. Because this guy, bro, he gets so much shit, so much stick. You get me? People always doubting him, always talking about this player, that player. But no matter what, he's so effective, bro. You get me? He comes onto the pitch every single time with the Arsenal top on. And whether he's not playing good or not, he'll pull something out the bag for us. Even though you know he wants to come in on that left foot, you just can't stop it, man. Talk to me about Saka. Are we on the brinks of world class or what?
Yeah, man. This is the most disrespected player in the Premier League for me is Bukayo Saka. It's funny because I knew I would jinx this. The other day I said, let's see what Cole Palmer does now that he gets 3 players on him.
Bad boy, Cole.
When I got a free hat-trick of assists and a goal yesterday. But Wolves weren't putting 3 men on him. You know what I mean? Whereas Man City were. We saw when you put 3 men on a player, he doesn't get a sniff. Saka, you put 3 or 4 men on him and he still plays out of his skin. I thought he was brilliant against Wolves. I know that people were saying he wasn't effective in the first 25 minutes. Then he scores assists. And yesterday, assists again. Saturday, isn't it now? I think for me, when I look at it, I'm a massive, massive fan of everything he does on the ball. And I understand there's parts of his game where perhaps he still needs to improve, but people forget that he's 22 and that he can still improve. People forget that with Saliba as well. You think these are the ready-made players now. Do you know what I'm saying? There's only really 4 or 5 players at Arsenal that aren't going to get any better, and they're the guys in their late 20s to early 30s, and ain't many of them, bro. So for me, when I look at what Saka can still achieve in football, it's greatness. He's already proven for club and country that he's outstanding. People that have looked at England in the Euros going, what are England doing? They're so rubbish. Who's the reason they're still in the competition? Bukayo Saka, mate. He scores the goal against Switzerland. Everyone's saying, drop him for Palmer. He's rubbish. Not a word on Foden. Not a word on Bellingham, how poor they were. Not a word on Kane, how poor they were. It's all about get rid of Saka. And it's because they don't like Arsenal fans having happiness at a player. They get very, very jealous when Arsenal fans go over the top. And trust me, there are Arsenal fans that go over the top, bruv. Me and you know this, right? We work with a lot of them, yeah? They go, man, oh my God, this guy's ridiculous. He's the best player I've ever seen at right wing. Forget Ronaldo and Messi. And it's like, calm down a minute. The kid's 22. He's not won anything yet. Let's just enjoy him. And I think that sometimes it's hard for people to just enjoy a player. He's got to be world-class now. He's got to be better than Foden now. He's got to be better than Salah. No, he hasn't. Just let him be Saka. Let him do what he's doing. The kid's phenomenal. And again, last season, I didn't really have that good a season, Saka, did he? 34 goals and assists. That's not a good season. I can't wait for him to get good prems.
And you know what it is as well, Dan? The maddest thing is, what people don't realise is Saka come onto the scene a lot longer than Palmer and Foden. He come in, what did he make his debut at? 17, I think it was, late 17 or something like that. Left back position, you get me, which wasn't even his position. He's carried Arsenal from such a young age for many seasons now in a very disrupted team. And throughout this whole period, Arsenal team's been chopping and changing, and he's been the ever-present guy. And he's never let it derail him. He's never changed him. He's only progressed. You know what I mean? And that's a testament to his mentality, his professionalism, and the way he is as a baller on the pitch. You get me? So I don't know. I think Saka, if we lost him, bro, I think we'll be in trouble big time, bro. I think we definitely need to be bringing somebody in on the right hand side now that Jesus is injured, and we don't know how long that's going to be, because we're leaving ourselves very, very short. Martinelli on the other side, I'll be honest with you, I love him. He needs to pull his fucking socks up, Dan. He needs to pull his socks up, because at this level right now, where we're at, challenging for the league, if you're not good enough, sorry, somebody else has got to come on and somebody else has got to play, or you've got to bring somebody else in the door. If that means Martinelli has to go out on loan to a club to get game time or whatnot, or we have to sell him, so be it. And I know it might sound like an absolute arsehole, because he's one of our fan favourite players, and he's one of my favourite players, but yo, you got to be ruthless. You don't win anything by being nice, and it's simple as that.
Yeah, facts, man. Trossard's the better footballer. Trossard's technically better. He's got to play now. And Martinelli needs to look at his performances. Now, I understand it isn't all just Martinelli and there's stuff that's happening around him. Perhaps it's not as settled over on that left-hand side that it is for Saka on that right-hand side. But sometimes you've actually just got to stop making excuses and look at your own game. And I thought he was poor again against Wolves and Villa. I've got to say that. You know, so for me, I think Martinelli will be a different Martinelli when we get Merino and Calafiori playing in that left-hand side. If he's not, then I don't know what else to say.
Do you prefer Calafiori on the left than Timber? Because for me, I think he looks a bit too. Like, I don't think he looks mobile enough to be a left back.
I haven't seen enough.
More of a centre back to me.
Yeah, I haven't seen enough yet from either of them. In fact, unfortunately, the player I've seen enough of is Zinchenko, and I know enough that I don't want him to play.
Yo, bro, I was saying this on the best of the rest. Yo, fuck that, Kieran Tierney, bro, getting fit up, taking my play him all day long, bro.
This is mad. I've been saying this for ages, that he's better than Zinchenko defensively, but everyone wants to shoot me down. But listen, I think Timber and Calafiori, both of them, are going to fight for that left back position. I think Calafiori's been brought in to be that left back. I think Timber's more of a versatile player that can go right, left, centre, mid back, centre mid. He can go everywhere.
You know what, Dan? Yeah, I hate to say this, but I don't think it's going to be that case. I think Calafiori's come in to potentially be a replacement for Gabriel. A
lot of people are saying that.
Because look, at the start of last season, his head was turned by Saudi, and he does have a moment in him. Reckless moment, Gabriel. And look how ruthless Arteta's been with the goalkeeper situation. Well, we didn't think we had a problem with goalkeeper. He's brought somebody else in. So maybe that's what it could be. Because look, I think with Timber, you can see Timber suits the left-sided or the right-sided wing back more, because he can invert. He's a lot more fluid on the ball. He's got good feet. He's got pace. He looks a lot more mobile than Calafiori to do that role. You get me? Defensively, Timber's sound as well. So I just have a feeling we might end up seeing a Calafiori and Saliba partnership for a few years, maybe. You know what I mean? So who says we're not? If he comes in and he does a better job than Gabriel, I'm all for it. You know what I mean?
So, of course, if he's better than Gabriel, then fine. But I think it would be foolish to break that partnership up right now.
Oh, 100%.
you know, how it could go down in history. But to break that up would be mad. I will say, though, I spoke to a guy from Italy who's a Napoli fan, big up Mohamed Salah, and he said to me, he reckons Calafiori and Saliba will be the partnership and it will be for the next decade the best has ever been. So who knows, man? Who knows? I don't know. Gabriel's 27.
Right.
So, yeah, we'll see. I think it could be interesting to see where we're at there, man. 100% it could be.
Yeah. But you know what, Dan? I swear to God, I think the most important thing is for us this season, is just not to listen to the outside noise from anybody and focus on the main target. Because if we don't win the trophy, when I say the trophy, I mean the Premier League, it's going to be a real bad season for us. And look, you can take loads of things into context, and I'm not stupid enough to understand that. However, for me, I really believe, look, this is the third year we're pushing for the title. I don't think Man City are as strong as they once were. Yeah, they had a fantastic result, but I don't think it's the same Man City as it once was. You get me, with the likes of Mahrez, etc. Gundogan coming back is a massive plus for him. You get me? Massive plus that people don't realise how much of a big plus it is, because he was such a key figure to their squad, which does have me a bit worried. But I still think this Arsenal side is younger, fresher, hungrier. We've not got a title to our name. There's something there, and I think we will win the league this season, bro. What's your predictions on the league?
Listen, I love the optimism, and I'd love to join in that optimism, trust me. But I just feel personally, Manchester City, with the signing of both Savio, who, by the way, looks like Mahrez. He's a baller. Gundogan being replaced with Gundogan. It looks to me as if Manchester City could be back this season. And I say back, and it sounds mad because they already won the league last season, but I still feel like they could win more than one. I think with that Champions League win, they had more games, so they threw away the League Cup to go for the Club World Cup. They obviously went for the FA Cup, and they got knackered and lost to Ten Hag at the end of it, right? Didn't turn up. I feel like they want a little bit of revenge for that. And whether it's Pep's last year or not, I just feel like they're going to have a couple of trophies winning it. That's why I believe Arsenal need to go for the domestic cups this year. Because for me, if we don't win the Premier League, I don't see it as disaster. As long as we've taken Man City to the wire like we did before, but we're doing that elsewhere, whether it be Champions League, FA Cup, League Cup.
Yeah, that can work.
That can work. Right? But for me, I want that Premier League. Of course I do. I want the Champions League and the Premier League. But I think we absolutely have to take... What are we really pissed off with, Prems, is if we go, right, we don't care about the cups. We're going for these two again. Yeah. And then we miss out on them when we won nothing again. And people are going, get him out. He's not good enough, blah, blah, blah. I don't want all that toxicity at the end, man.
But you know what? Yeah, Dad. You know what? Yeah, me and you, I remember on AFTV, were one of a handful of people that were saying at the time, fuck all this. I don't want to be knocked out of any cups. This is right from the get-go. And people were a lot of other people were saying, "Oh, we want to focus on the league. We want to focus on the league. We sacrifice cups." For me, it doesn't matter. Nothing's guaranteed. Look, we've been close to the league twice. Walked away with our balls in our hands in it. So really and truly, we need to win something. Whether it's the FA Cup, Carabao Cup, Champions League, we definitely need to win something. The main priority, your bread and butter, is the league in it for me. So go for the league, but everything else on the other side of it, you still have to go for. We've got a strong enough squad now, Dan, to be able to do that to a certain extent. Defensively, we're sound. Yeah, up front and midfield, we could add one or two more players. However, I think we're strong enough. And talking about midfield, fucking Thomas Partey, he scored a good goal in that. But I know there's a much better player in Partey than what I've seen in the first two games. You get me? I know there's a much better player, and we need to see it fast.
Yeah, Thomas Partey is an interesting one because I didn't think he was as bad against Villa, but my goodness, in the second half against Wolves, he just giving the ball away. I think it was 5 times to give the ball away in the second half. That is shocking. So, yeah, he's going to have to find his feet. Declan Rice going to have to find his feet. And I actually believe now it's like defence complete. What we do in the midfield in the attack now, Arteta, because that ain't completed. I look at the bench and I think, right, who's the impact from that bench at the weekend? Trossard, right, who else? Eddie? No, he's not. Right, okay. How about Nelson? No, he's not. How about Wanyeri? Well, he's young. How about Jorginho? I can give you a Calafiori. Yeah, who's going to win us the game? Trossard did in the end, but what happens if he's not out? If he's out? Jesus, yeah, but he's injured. Do you see what I'm saying? There needs to be more from that bench, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, definitely. Get me on there. Get me fucking on there. I'll tell you, I've been breaking man's legs and that. No, definitely, Dan. 100% we do. I fully agree with everything that you said, bro. And I think this season is going to be a good season. I'm optimistic. I am optimistic. You know me, I don't say shit lightly when it comes to Arsenal Football Club. You get me? But really and truly, as an Arsenal fan at this particular moment, we should be just saying, yeah, we're going to win the league. And I'm not saying it as blind hope, because look where we are. We were 2 points away. Put that belief in the team. maybe it might get us over the line. You know what I'm saying? But
Facts.
people, go on, Dan. Give us one last. Give us one last. Give us something before we go, because we're gonna wrap it up now.
Yeah, no, big up. Listen, the last few days are the biggest of the transfer window in the history of the club, and I'll tell you why quickly. We are that close, Brems. We are that close. If the Cronkies and Edu and Arteta together leave us short and don't maximise this window, on their heads be it, because there's an opportunity there now. And if we do not get the attacker that we need to take us across the line and be that moment's player, we might be walking away again in May trophyless, and that will be down to this process and regime. So for me, don't allow that to happen. I am absolutely adamant someone's coming in. Don't know who, no idea. But I think at least one player is coming in. And I think by the end of this window, we will go, right, okay, we're ready. Now let's go do it. That's where I'm at, man. Let's end on a positive, innit?
No, 100%, yo. But people, them, like I said, we have come to the end of the show. This has been Arsenal Unpacked. Big, massive gratitude to Dan Potts for coming on. As you know, he's my brethren. You're going to see him on here a lot more. He's been on the channel before. Again, if you've come over from Dan Potts' stream, obviously this will be getting redirected after Dan's stream. So I do want to say appreciate you coming over and showing man some love. Again, if you subscribe to the channel, like this video, go over to the Football's 12 Man and go and check that out as well. Subscribe to Dan, and we'll see you next week, people. Peace and love.